Hello everybody, welcome to another video in the series of videos exploring elasticity. What the previous three videos have focused on is price elasticity of demand. In other words, how demand responds to a change in price. And what we discovered from price elasticity of demand is that we were exploring the shape of the demand curve. So what we know is as price levels increase, demand will contract. If price levels fall, then demand will extend. PED was exploring how much demand changes as price changes. And what we realized was that demand can be price inelastic, which means the change in price would exceed the change in demand. Demand was unresponsive to that change in price. But we could also have a price elastic relationship, which would mean a small increase in price would lead to a significant change in demand. So demand was responsive to a change in price. What we're going to be looking at in this video is the concept of income elasticity of demand, which is about measuring how demand responds to a change in income. So if we earn more, how will it affect the demand for goods and services? Will it affect the demand for some goods more than others? In theory, if income grows, will the demand for some products actually start to fall or go down in effect? So if I just show you now this, so we actually call the concept of income elasticity of demand YED. So income elasticity of demand, or YED. So we're measuring here the responsiveness of demand to a change in income. Now look at the formula for YED. This is very, very similar to the formula we use for price elasticity of demand. The only thing that I've changed is one word, but it changes the meaning of this formula completely. So I've got the percentage change in demand divided by the percentage change in income. So the only thing that I've changed is the word price and put income there instead. So in other words, how will demand change as incomes change? Now with the PED formula, we said that for the vast majority of products, we would only get a negative number from it. With the reason being, if prices go up, demand will fall, it will go down. It's a negative relationship between the two. If prices fell, then demand would extend. In other words, it would increase. So again, that would be a negative relationship between the two. If one goes up, the other one will go down. One goes down, the other one would go up. Now, when it comes to the income elasticity of demand formula, we can get both positive and negative numbers. Now, a positive number would show us what we call a normal good. In other words, it's a positive relationship between income and demand. You earn more, you buy more. You earn less, you will buy less of those goods and services. A negative number would show us an inferior good. You earn more, you buy less of these goods, or you earn less, you'll buy more of these products. It's a negative relationship between income and demand. Now, think first of all about normal goods, what we call positive numbers from the YED formula. If we get a score of 0 to +1, this would show us necessities. A score greater than 1 would show us what we call luxury products. Now, the difference is for a necessity and a necessity would mean if income was to increase, demand will grow, but it won't be a responsive change to that change in income. So, for example, income might grow by 10%, demand for necessities might grow by 2 or maybe 3%. So the change in income would be more significant than the change in demand. Now, to give you an example of the necessities, if you were to receive more money, you obviously become more willing and able to buy more products. Well, necessities, generally you will pay for your necessities anyway. These are the things that people will prioritize over luxuries. So as you earn more money, you might decide to buy a few extra necessities, but you're not going to go mad. So for example, you might decide to buy a few extra clothes. You might buy a bit more basic food from the supermarkets, but your demand will not significantly increase for these products. Okay, so for me, it might be a case of if I earn more money, I might buy a few extra bags of coffee here or there, but it won't have a significant impact on my demand because I buy these things anyway, and I more or less buy all the necessities that I want anyway. Now, luxury goods, though, you will find that demand will be more responsive to a change in income here. So if I got a 10% pay rise, you might see that my demand for holidays might grow by 20 or 30%. It's a more responsive change to that change in income. So if I earn more money, I've got increased ability to buy more luxury products People might buy more cars more regularly, a bigger house more regularly, more design label clothes more regularly. Now, clearly, when it comes to these normal goods, so necessities or luxuries, if income was to fall, demand for these things would fall. Well, there'd be a more significant fall in the demand for luxuries because if you earn less money, the luxuries are the first products that you should really be looking to cut out. So that might lower your demand for holidays significantly, design label clothes, computer games, etc. But it won't have a significant impact on your demand for necessities because you've got to buy these. So your income's fall, these are the things that you will prioritize. The demand for these should not fall that significantly. Now, a negative number would show us inferior goods because there's a negative relationship with these between income and demand. If you were to earn more, you would buy fewer inferior goods. So it's a negative relationship. Good example could be bus travel. If people's income increased, their willingness and ability to buy cars or maybe travel by, quicker, more efficient forms of transport like train might become more popular. So demand for these products will start to go down as you earn more money. For many people, it could be supermarket own brand food. You earn more, you might buy less of these particular types of products. Now, clearly, if your income was to fall, your demand for these inferior goods will actually start to increase. Because you've got to eat, for example. So what you might do, you might shift away from buying branded food to more of the budget range food in supermarkets. You might start to give up design label clothes and buy supermarket own brand clothes instead. You might sell your car and travel by public transport. It's worth noting though that not all consumers will view products in the same way. So someone's normal good might be someone's inferior good. Someone's inferior good might be a normal good, etc. So for me, supermarket own brand products, some people might view them as an inferior good. To me, they're a normal good. I'll buy more of them if I earn more money. Other people would give them up if they earn more money. Okay, so not everyone will view products in the same way when it comes to YED. Right, now you've got here then the impact of income on demand curves. So we've got a normal demand curve here. We've got price on the vertical axis and quantity on the horizontal axis. Now, when we looked at price elasticity of demand, we were looking at the shape of the demand curve. Steep would show inelastic, more flat would show more elastic demand. Now, what we know is that any other factor changing which influences demand is a shift of the demand curve. So we're looking here how income will make a demand curve shift. Now, on the left-hand side diagram, we're showing how an increase in income would affect the demand for normal goods. So these could be necessities or luxuries. As you earn more, your demand will shift outwards for these products. You become more willing and able to buy them. So if you look at the example I've given here, I've got here foreign holidays. Now these will clearly be a luxury product. You earn more money, you become more willing and able to buy these things. So your demand curve would shift outwards. So for the vast majority of products, as you earn more, it will make the demand curve shift outwards. But what we're saying is income levels grow, the demand will shift more significantly outwards for luxury goods than it would do necessities. The diagram on the right-hand side shows how a growth in income would affect the demand for inferior goods. So the idea would be if income levels grow, the demand for inferior goods will shift inwards. You become less willing and able to buy these particular products. So bus travel, for example, if you earn more money, you might decide to demand less bus travel and go and buy a car instead. Now, clearly, everyone, if I was to see a drop in income, then I would flip these diagrams round. If I earn less money, my demand curve would shift inwards for luxury and normal products, but it would shift outwards for inferior goods. So we can use basic demand curves to show how income would affect demand. Right, now try not to get too bogged down or confused by these diagrams, but it's just a different way of showing how income levels affects demand for goods and services. So what I've done this time, I've still got quantity on the horizontal axis, but on the vertical axis, I've put income rather than price. Now look at the inferior good first of all. I'm showing a negative relationship between income and demand. So look at this. If income's increased from Y1 to Y2, then demand falls from Q1 to Q2. You earn more, you become less willing and able to buy these products. Clearly, if income was to fall from Y2 to Y1, there will be an increase in demand from Q2 to Q1. Then look at normal goods, necessities and luxury goods. For necessity goods, as incomes increase from Y1 to Y2, there will only be a small increase in demand. So the change in income is more significant than the change in demand. And this is for the reason we said before. Necessities, you generally buy them anyway. These are the things that you prioritize. If you earn a bit more money, that you might buy a small amount extra normal goods. So the percentage change in income would exceed the percentage change in demand. A luxury good, you'll notice this time I've drawn the demand curve to be steeper, to be shallower, should I say? So more flat. So here a smaller proportion increase in income would have a more significant increase in demand. Okay, so you earn a bit more, your demand for luxury goods will increase more significantly than it will do necessity goods. Now, clearly as well, that if your income was to drop, these are the products that you sacrifice the most. There'd be a significant drop in demand for these products. So everyone, just a different way of thinking about these diagrams. One final thing I will say here, that this shows you why the formula will give us the numbers that it will do. Inferior goods, YED formula, percent change in demand divided by percent change in income. You earn more, you buy less. It's a negative relationship between the two. Normal goods, you earn more, there will be a growth in demand, so you've got a positive relationship, but the percent change in income exceeds that percent change in demand. For luxury goods, again, you've got the positive relationship, income goes up, demand will go up, but this time the percent change in demand or increase in demand is more significant than that percentage increase in income. Right, everyone, I've been through quite a lot of theory there, so what I would now like to do is to hit pause and to jot down your answers for these questions here. When you feel like you're comfortable and you understand this theory, please hit play and watch the rest of the video, please. So hit pause now, answer the questions. When you're ready, hit play again, please. Right, I just want to end this video by showing you a couple of worked examples for YED. So look what you've got here. In example 1, as income increases from £35,000 per year to £36,100 per year, demand for product A increases from 12 to 17. Now I've got to input numbers into the formula for YED, percent change in demand divided by percent change in income. So I would use that formula in the top right hand corner of the screen here. To work out a percentage change, it's the new value take away the original value, which will give you the difference or the change, divided by the original value multiplied by 100. So look what I've done then. To work out the percentage change in demand, I've taken 12 away from 17, which is 5. That's the change. Divided by the original, which was 12, multiplied by 100 to get a 41.67% increase in demand. And that has happened because of income increasing from 35 grand to £36,100 per year. If I put them numbers into the percentage change formula, I get a growth in income of 3.14%. So all I now do, I put these numbers into the YED formula, and what I can see is that a 3.14% increase in income will give us a change in demand of 41.67%, and that will give us a score of 13.3. Now this clearly shows us a normal good because it's a positive relationship. The growth in income has led to an increase in demand. Because the number is greater than 1, then it's a luxury good. In other words, the percentage change in demand is more significant than the percentage change in income. So we've got a luxury good here. Example 2, look what's happened here. Income decreases from £13,200 per year to £12,950 per year. This leads to demand for product B increasing from 53 to 61 per year. Now again, what I can do, I can plug these numbers into the YED formula, and I can see this time that income has fallen by 7.58%. Demand has grown by 15.09%. So I can see this time I've got a negative relationship. As income falls, demand for this product has increased. So from the formula, I can see that the YED is minus 1.99. Remember, a negative number would show me an inferior good. So this time the relationship is negative. So we've got an inferior good. We earn less, we buy more of this particular product. What you've got here is how firms will use YED, why it's useful for them. Now, businesses, when they produce goods and services, they've got to be able to predict demand. So they want to know, what will the demand be for particular goods and services? And what they know is that people's incomes will have a big impact on people's demand for goods and services. So, for example, if you're the producer of a normal good, so it could be necessity or luxury, you know that as incomes increase across the economy, then people will buy more of your goods and services. Well, as a business, then, if you know that, you've got to gear up for that and be able to produce more goods and services. You know that your revenue will increase. So you'll be able to maybe plan to expand and grow your business. If you know that incomes are falling across the economy, then you know the demand for your products will actually start to come down. Well, as a business, you've got to be prepared for that. You know your revenues are going to fall. So what you've got to be able to do is to reduce the size of your business. You might shed a few workers, try to cut costs in a few different places. You've got to be prepared for that eventuality. Now, if you produce inferior goods, then you know if incomes are increasing across society, the demand for your products will actually start to go down. And again, you've got to be prepared for that. You know that if incomes are falling across the economy, the demand for your products will start to increase. So again, you've got to be prepared and change your business to adapt for that possibility. So good examples at the moment, everyone. What we know is our economy is struggling due to the COVID-19 problems. This is leading to incomes falling for lots of people. So if you're the producer of a normal good, necessity or luxury, you know that the demand for your products are probably going to be starting to fall. So if you're a restaurant owner, you know that if people's incomes are falling, they're not going to eat out as much. You might need to get rid of a few workers. Be prepared for some really tough times coming ahead for the future of your business. If you're an airline, again, you've got the same problem. You know that falling incomes means that people are less likely to travel on holiday. So as a business owner, you've got to be prepared for that possible change. Inferior good businesses will know actually falling incomes is actually quite good for their business. They might want to rack up productions. So businesses that sell inferior goods might want to expand and build more stores. You tend to find that businesses like Aldi and Lidl, for example, that sell inferior goods will expand and grow as incomes start to fall across society. Now, in these diagrams here, what you can see is how incomes will affect revenue for businesses. So in example one, look what you've got. Original demand was 250 at Q1 based on a selling price of £2. If incomes across the economy fall, and you've got how much they fall by there, then what we know is that we can work out the YED, and we get here a YED of 0.8. So we've got a necessity good. So you know this fall in income is going to have an impact on your demand, and you can use this to work out how much it would affect your revenue. So it's a really, really useful tool for businesses to plan and prepare for the future. The diagram at the bottom, it shows that if incomes are, bear with me, falling, then demand will move outwards, where they can work out exactly how that would affect their revenue. So it gives businesses that ability to predict and plan for the future. Right, everyone, now just to end this video, what I would like to do, please, to now think about this. Identify and explain up to 3 reasons why firms will want to know the YED for their goods and services. Why is it useful for a business to know their income elasticity of demand for their goods and services? Right, guys, once you've put down the answer and you understand what you've written down for that question, that is the end of this video. Thank you very much.